No clip
Here
to
we
start
go.
the show?
Your ass is grass.
Hey, gotta throw it in there. Yes. Hey, everybody. It is Thursday, April 1st, 2021. It is the 15th episode of Big Brother Canada 9 and the 5th eviction overall, the final eviction as we head into the jury week. And we have this news of a double eviction that's going to be coming up 1 week from now. Hey, I'm Dave Mader coming at you here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting, joined with Jaemeel Robinson to cover this whole season. Jaemeel, how are you tonight?
I'm all right. And yourself?
I'm doing I'm doing pretty well. You know, I thought that this was a good episode tonight. I think there was a little bit better than last night, at least. You know,
Okay,
maybe.
Yeah. I will agree to that. There was a little bit more hijinks, interesting hijinks, I should say.
Yeah.
Hijinks for the sake of hijinks isn't no.
Right.
This whole place is spaghetti.
It's spaghetti in this house. Beth is the HOH too. That's the other big headline of this hour. And not so surprisingly, Austin went out in a 9-0 vote here, or whatever it was. Was it 9 votes? 1, 2, 3, 7. I'm sorry, it was 7.
Yeah, 7.
It was a landslide vote. I did pick in my OLG Big Brother Canada pool that it would be again a unanimous vote this week, and it looks like I scored some points in there. But let's break down this episode, talk about this, and maybe what we're looking ahead at now that this jury thing has been revealed. I don't know if they did Arissa say it to the.
Yeah, she said next week is the beginning of juries, and 2 people will be setting up shop in the jury house next week.
There you go. So 2 people will be going there together. And I said, well, one of them won't be Beth, but actually it could be Beth. She could be the second person out, but it won't be the first. She won't be the first to go to jury. That is a guarantee. A lot to break down tonight. Some and not so maybe so much, but it was kind of a mixed bag. But I thought that just how this played out. I thought in particular, Austin's eviction and her getting that reveal tonight. Victoria's reveal of the invisible HOH. Oh my God. Let's not bury the lead story. I recorded this. I haven't recorded any of these goodbye speeches yet, but this is kind of like a classic Big Brother sucker punch, goodbye message.
This is Big Brother, not Find Your Bestie. All you and Brayden did was seclude yourself and act invisible. The only time it's good to be invisible in this game is when you're the invisible HOH. That's right, girl. It's me. I'm aligned with everyone in this house, and I have to put the bossy glossies up because I just didn't know where your heads are at, and that ain't good for my game. Sorry, girl.
Oh boy. And all the Austinites are crying tonight, Jaemeel. They are in mourning.
Victoria's looking to get stabbed the way she's talking.
Okay. Like, even if you're just trying to break that down. So she was just mad that Austin and Brayden were besties and that I don't know where your head's at, and that's not good for my game.
Lord.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
This is her motivation for everything. Like, she got rid of Toy because she wanted to be closer to Jed and Ty. She got rid of Austin because Austin wasn't paying her any attention, and they must pay attention to her or else. And then when you hear about other people she doesn't like, it's like, well, this person doesn't talk to me, or this person, has disrespected me somehow, so therefore Austin wouldn't even look at me today, so I'm angry at her, and I'm gonna vent to Brayden, who is on the block and can't get off after the veto. I'm like, wait, your issue with Austin is bigger than like Brayden's issue that he's dealing with? Even pretend, girl, pretend.
No, I don't think that Victoria rolls like that. I've known people like Victoria. I've even dated people like Victoria. If I, and she, I know the type. It's very much a self-centered world, and she craves the attention. And this whole thing where she can eliminate her social competition, I feel like Victoria is almost custom built. Maybe not for Big Brother specifically, but for almost reality TV, where you get to vote people out and have a sole survivor, like whether it be Survivor or Big Brother. Even an Amazing Race. I think that, she would suit a lot of these formats.
She could not do Look, I don't know how her jury management's gonna go for the rest of this game, because if she's burning bridges like the way she is like right now, I don't know. Like there's no reason to be lighting things on fire like that. Like you won. Austin didn't do anything that bad to you. You know, you send her off on her way. You let her know that it was you, and you're like, you start working on your sincerity. Start, tweaking a little bit. But no, man, she had to scorch earth this person. I don't know how you could have a positive relationship going forward with that type of talk.
Yeah, I think that this this bomb that Austin is left with at the end of the episode, and I gotta say, I'm happy to have the show, I'm happy to everything, but the fact that her face was covered for this, Austin's face with the mask, even though it's a branded mask, which I think is better. It's I think Arissa's the one who should be wearing the mask in this situation, or put a shield between them, because not to be able to see, I want to see Austin's jaw drop in this moment.
I don't think it's gonna. I think she's gonna be like, like that type of face.
Maybe, but we lost out on a TV moment potentially here tonight. Because I was like, all I could do is read her eyes, and there wasn't a lot there.
I'm just saying, out of all the women in the house, Victoria has now picked a fight with two of the toughest. Like, Austin and LaToya are two people I wouldn't necessarily want to get in the bad side, because they look like they would wreck someone's life.
Right. Who do you think would have the popularity though? Who has the masses behind them, the mob behind them? Is it Victoria right now, just because she's outlasting these players like Austin and LaToya?
Who has a bigger fan base? I think currently Austin has a bigger fan base than the three that I'm talking about: LaToya, Austin, and Victoria. The Victoria fans are really there just because she lights a match, throws the match into the gasoline pile, and walks away while it explodes in the background.
Yeah, but she's still got gasoline coming down her leg, Jaemeel. Right? She's still attached.
She's running fast. She's trying to outrun it. Yeah, lighting other fires along the way.
She's setting herself on fire. The process.
Whereas LaToya, I think she had her fans, but LaToya also rubbed people the wrong way. Whereas Austin, she really didn't do anything, which means that you have your friends and family. Plus, she was very, good with Brayden, who has, I think, a pretty strong fan base as well. So, yeah, I think Austin has a bigger fan base, honestly. And Kyle, plus the relationship with Kyle, it intersects with those three too.
Yeah, we'll see how this all plays out. But I feel like Victoria she's loving life right now. She is eating it up, and I can't say I hate it. I'm not necessarily rooting for Victoria. She's emerging to me as a villain of this season. Yeah. She's like the Cersei Lannister of this season to me. She's just.
Let me ask you a question. All-Stars? If there's an All-Stars, do you want Victoria on this cast?
Yes, but I don't think she'll go far. Like, I feel like she is, I think we'll see how this will play out. But if you were even to say she's evicted next week, and let's say you throw her into an All-Star season, I think she's probably like a first boot or a second week.
But she's locked into jury, so you're getting her to the rest of the season.
Yeah, she's here to stay, and really, like, sometimes just outlasting people is half the battle, because you can create a legacy for yourself. And I think Victoria will be a memorable player after the season. We'll say, what do we remember about Big Brother Canada 9? I don't think we're going to be saying, was it Austin? I don't think it will be. I think we'll be talking about Spicy V and her antics and everything else, like when she got covered in sauce.
Like, I can't even eat and I'm covered in sauce.
Oh, that was Austin. Sorry.
Still a good line.
Still a good line. Okay, let's talk about the episode, just so we don't miss anything, just so we don't forget to mention any of the plot points. I have here Arissa in her dress tonight. We'll just take our cameras off here for 2 seconds just to check her. Arissa was in her black and white, almost a Star Trek-esque outfit, I would say, tonight, Jaemeel.
Yes. What may this be your own battlefield?
Yes, maybe. Yeah, like it's a little bit like the underground caverns with the Nurse Chapel guy. I can't remember his name now.
Well, I was thinking, I forget the actor's name, but half black, half.
You mean like Frank Gorshin
Yes.
from Batman 1960s version?
Yes,
where
played the Riddler. I think the episode's called "May This Be Your Last Battlefield."
it is actually called that. I think I even have a clip. Give me 10 seconds.
You know what? I haven't been so good with my my memory regarding original series titles, so I gotta tap myself on the back on that one. I'm pretty proud of that pull. But yeah, Arissa, fashion wise, sometimes they're hits, sometimes they're misses.
Last week was a miss, by the way. We didn't really talk about it last week, but I had it up there just because I was like, this needs to be.
It was a miss. It was a miss.
But this was better this week. Yeah, she was.
This very 80s, very 80s.
Yeah, but I can deal with that. I can deal with some like I thought more of a look this week. Last week she was in like this suit, that was all covered in flowers, and I was like, this is not. I think that it wasn't so much the material as just like the
cut.
Yeah, the cut and just I think it would have worked better as a dress than as like a suit. It just was it just didn't work. Not that this is fashion hour, but hey, why not?
Well, if anyone watches any of our other podcasts, you would know that Dave has an appreciation of fashion, uniforms, and outfits. So this is this is what did this say? This is on theme. This is this is part of the gimmick. This is Dave.
It is. I found the Gorshin laugh. Took me a second.
If she only did that. If she only did that.
Yes. Right. Anyway, so what else do we have here? So this episode starts kind of where we left off. The veto's not used by Rohan. Rohan was really emotional to start this episode tonight. He was crying outside. Tina and Tara had to console him. You weren't impressed with this? I can tell.
Look, I can understand people feeling bad. I have to emotionally separate myself from that situation. I don't know how he's feeling. I'm not in that situation, so. But like when they show people getting very emotional about these decisions, it just really kind of, I'm like, okay, I want to move on from it.
Well, was it genuine, you think?
I think with a lot of these things, they're genuine. I like the crocodile tears are safe for Victoria. I think he was genuinely actual. I think he realizes or understands what a mistake it was, and he's going to keep feeling that decision going forward. So,
okay.
And if I was Brayden, I would lord it over him, subtly through the rest of the game as long as he's there.
Yeah, well, like assuming that they will be, but
how dare they?
How dare you, Rohan?
How dare they?
How dare you not use the veto on your besties? We get a conversation here with Brayden and Victoria early on, where this is kind of right after the ceremony too, where Victoria's like, "I'm so mad at you," and she's coming at Brayden, and then I think Tara comes in at one point. Yeah. She's talking about how mad she is at Austin, and then
she felt Austin's speech during the veto ceremony was kind of directed at her and other people, and she did not appreciate it. Saying how kind of fake Austin can be because like she wouldn't even talk to her, like she didn't pay her any attention. They said they like both of them mentioned that they want to work together, and then they never talked to her after that. And so
yeah,
Brayden seemed a little bit like, what is happening right now?
Yeah,
shouldn't I be the one who's emotional, right? And then everyone comes in seemingly to go and like comfort Brayden on the situation, just like what happened last episode. But there it is, it's all about Victoria, Right?
Yeah, I was like, I literally wrote down here, what is Victoria doing in this scene? Like, what is she doing?
She's trying to shoot the moon. She's it's like you would think, hey, like let's just let them. Let's not put attention to myself because you got to ask questions about like why is she so angry at Austin? Austin's put up. Who's angry at her? Well, I know Victoria's angry at her. Like, stop putting yourself in the mix when you're supposed to be invisible. Like, take a hint, right?
Yeah, this was not. Was this a sort of misdirect attempt by Victoria, or like because I remember Austin's speech from Vito last night, and I felt like it was more directed at Rohan than anybody.
It was mostly directed at Rohan. I don't know how, like, unless you're like a severe narcissist. Oh wait,
Oh wait, yes, that
oh
might be
wait.
the case.
Yes.
We may have some evidence.
I am so good at this game.
If you've ever watched the original Peter Pan play, like the musical, when when Peter Pan starts talking about his shadow and how awesome he is, right, for having a shadow and catching it, right, and that's what Victoria sounds, right?
Yeah.
It's oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
it's
not a crow.
she is a bit of a force of nature, I would call Victoria. Watching her tonight, it's just terrifically terrible. But you got to imagine if you're a player like Tina, who's just kind of sitting back and relaxing and going, "Hey, I'm the oldest person in this house. Nobody's coming for me." And not only that, I'm not seen as weak or not capable or not connected with people. Like as much as people say they don't like Tara, and maybe that really hurts Tara's chances of not winning the game. Tara is not, I think, a top target. She just seems to be an expendable player, which is not always the worst thing. Being expendable can be okay as long as you can avoid being the expended.
Yes and no, because especially if you're not in control, if you're not in control, you just want the shot to go anywhere else besides you, right?
Right.
And you're like, hey, like, great job winning HOH. That's great for the resume. If you're in a strong alliance, you like who are you gonna take off right now? Like Braden and Rohan. That just seems kind of thing. But everyone hates Tara. You're gonna do the house a favor if you get rid of Tara. Get rid of her. Put some harmony back in the house. Right? That's one of the reasons why someone will do something like that. Where you'd be like, why would you waste an HOH on Tara? It's like Tara is subtly driving me out of my mind.
Right. Well, even in the jury phase, you think, or maybe especially because you're just sending Tara from one house to another house, right?
As long as it's not in the house you're in right now. Sometimes you just want to get rid of people.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, fair enough. We can talk more about this Victoria kind of craziness and everything, but I don't know. I think we've said what we need to say.
Yeah, I think we've already covered it, and honestly, I wouldn't mind an off week with Victoria. Just get double eviction craziness. Like she can be crazy on that episode. Let's just kind of get past this week. Let's have like a interesting week for other people. Right? Let's see Robe step up and be a main character.
I would love to see a week though where Victoria is on the block, just to see how she deals with it.
But they're not going to put her straight up on the block though. She would be only after Vito because everyone is afraid to take a direct shot at her because she's won. She's won.
Right. Yeah. She's one, and I think, well, Beth, in her confessional tonight, so there was like this sunsetter a party they had out in the, I guess it was in the Expedia room. And they said, we control the vote. And they were tickle pink, as Donnie would say. Somehow Victoria did our work for us. Beth says, I figured out, I think it's Victoria because she knows it's not her and the boys.
Mm-hmm.
So she's saying it's got to be Victoria. And of course she's right. And ironically, she wins HOH tonight. So, even more poignant now that she has that information, what she'll do with that and how she'll treat Victoria moving forward will be sort of interesting. If she'll keep her safe or not, and how close she keeps her to the vest. But there's this, but Austin never figured it out. we see that also here that she was like, I don't think Victoria is the HOH.
Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? And it's not like, well, okay, maybe she didn't figure it out. Multiple people went and told her, "Hey, it's Victoria." No, I don't think it's her. It's like,
they're bossy glossies.
yes, such a strong alliance.
Right. When you think about the friendship of Austin and Victoria, or if you can call it a friendship, a relationship at least.
That's
Austin.
dude.
Yeah, it's not a true friendship,
That's
but Austin, whatever it is, Austin takes it for granted, and Victoria feels very much slighted by that. So that's why we would say that Austin as a player really doesn't deserve to be here. She's maybe smart in some ways. She can do puzzles, or she might be good at certain things, but in terms of Big Brother, she's actually really not good. Victoria is actually her
she's
superior
good on paper, but like there's a certain drive that is required for you to be successful in Big Brother, right? And sometimes you look at people and they're like, these people, this person is going to be out like very quickly, but then they have this drive to just connect with people and get involved and mix it up or win competitions. There's something there. Austin has all the tools. She's smart. She's good looking. She is seemingly, when she talks to people, people really, enjoy her company.
Mhm.
But then she closes herself off. And I'm not just closing herself off just this week. I mean, in weeks previously, when Kyle went and, was flirting with her, if this was another person that was skilled, they would have been like, I'm going to like shut part of it down, but I'm still going to have that there so I can kind of pull him in, right? The oddballs didn't really connect until how long? Until the Sunsetters were pretty much established and you already had two people gone. They had two votes to really cement their alliance, right? Already, right? She started playing way too late. Same thing with Braden. Braden is going to start, trying now. It's like Kiefer and them, they at least were trying from the get-go, right? Like, what was it? Jed was on the other team, was on Defender, I believe, right? No, he was
on Destiny.
he was on Destiny.
But Ty was on Defender, right?
But it seems like they were already thinking ahead of time. They were already putting in work, right?
Yes.
Like Austin, Kyle, Roe, they waited way too long and they were steps behind. And now they're trying to catch up. And
too late.
These guys are way too ahead. They're way too ahead. And they haven't even won power. Like we're talking about Jed and Ty. They haven't even touched power, nor have they touched the block. Right?
I'm sorry, but he came here to win things, if I recall.
You're just looking for that.
I'm just looking for the Jets in here.
I know I can do this. I came here to win comps, and that's what I'm gonna do.
He almost did tonight.
Could it be crazy that, like, it would be insane if Jen and Ty make it to the final three without touching the block?
It would be insane. Even better, having never won a comp and having never touched the block.
It's insane to me. Actually, technically, unless one of them wins the comp.
Oh no, but Jed won a comp. He won a veto, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but
plus they wouldn't be able to make They wouldn't be able to get the final three without one of them winning the comp.
Right. But let's say Ty gets to the end without ever having been nominated or having never won a comp either, though. Like, is he sort of like, does that even itself out in terms of a resume?
Yes and no. It depends on how the other people were voted out. And I would figure that means someone else did the dirty work for him, and do they feel bad about it?
Will they respect it or not?
Will they respect it? That's the thing about it. Because other people would have won HOH or won vetoes, and they helped vote other people off. So will it be recognized that it was Ty being involved in being the hand that was kind of moving people out? or would it be that he was just, relaxing and chilling, and the plan from previous continued working? I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how Ty and Jed are viewed now that we know they're both in jury now, and we'll see where they place respectively. But they were the big meat shield guys, like, if you will, and Beth is in power this week, so they're at least I think they're safe at least until the second part of this double coming up next week.
Um, unless Beth decides to make a move.
But she's our contemplating tonight. What if I went against Ty and Jed? But I'm like, this is like fan fiction.
That's one of my favorite Rob clips. The thing that was missing from this episode was that whole discussion with Austin about thing. It isn't spoilers at this point because it's not like they're not gonna reference it. Maybe they might, but still, whatever. Austin went to Beth and had a suggestion about turning on the boys, right? And Beth had she was contemplating it. So she turns around and has a conversation with Jed, and we kind of see a little bit of it. She basically says, "Hey, I'm thinking about keeping Austin," right? So alerting him of her thoughts, right? Which was supposed to be kept a secret. And he plays along. He's like, "Why do you think so?" And as they talk it through, less and less do you see that flip happening, right? So the work he's put in terms of she has it in her mind that, and she verbalized the fact that, she has an uphill battle getting to the end, unless she's dragged there, right? But at the same time, you have Jed and Ty kind of mentioning that, this is a bad idea, and you kind of see them steering her away from that type of thought process as well, right?
This whole place is spaghetti.
Spaghetti, she said. It's not like it's not spaghetti. It's lasagna.
It's layered, very layered.
It's just layered. It's loyal to the soil.
Go to the soil, sunsetters for life until
Exactly.
you're in the jury house.
Until you're in the jury house, yeah. Then
Do
you're
you think the sunsetters would be better?
like, will the sunsetters be the final four or
will
five?
They be better? I don't think they're going to be the final four. I think things are going to split up.
Kiefer could be better.
Okay.
If they take him out, especially if they take him out like before his time,
I think Kiefer would still. I think Kiefer would still vote for one of the sunsetters. I think he would respect their game long enough and know the work that they put in, right? And they're obviously going to say that they used him, right? And then
he'll be like, "I respect that, bro."
I think he's gonna respect. He's like, Kiefer, I couldn't let you with all the wins that you have make it to the end, so I was working with you. Yes, indeed, we were, but at the same time, like, you did a lot of dirty work. We kind of positioned you in a certain way, and then before we got close to the end, we had to cut you. I'm sorry. I wish there was some way for me to feel comfortable to have you up here, but you were too big of a threat. I had to get rid of you. Like, Kiefer would be like, yeah, man, I understand. Yeah, I was too big of a threat. Yeah, you got to keep it real. Yeah, I got you.
Keep it real. Yeah, like
Victoria is a head case, right? In terms of how she's acting, whoever's in the final two will be blowing so much smoke up her ass. It'll be insane, the amount, right? I bet like someone's gonna get on their knees and like bow to her, right? And she'll be like, "Oh, I know. I'm one of the greatest of all times. That you had to eliminate me. Otherwise, there would have been no chance." She will take that dream and put it under a pillow, right, forever.
Yes.
Right. So.
Oh yeah, she's already writing that narrative.
I am so good at this game.
So good.
So good.
Gosh. Guys, I'm one of the best of all time. You know that?
I keep forgetting every Thursday to reset this clock. One second.
No problem. I wouldn't be surprised if Victoria's boyfriend has goat shirts written for her when she comes out of the Big Brother house. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I have a whole cavalcade of comments about their relationship. Or I don't know what kind
About
of
who? Sorry, I was just adjusting my life.
Victoria and her boyfriend.
Victoria, yeah, like yeah, we only had that one letter from him and his brother, right? Who was her best friend, but then she had the other best friend, and we talked about how many best friends she might have. It's neither here nor there. Yeah, she's an interesting character. I think we're going to be analyzing Victoria for many weeks to come. I don't think she's going to be out that soon. But can we talk about this secret mission that they had to go on tonight?
Dave, I'm so angry. So angry.
What? Okay, so this was what made you angry here? Was it just the messiness?
No, like okay, so we'll break it down. And I'll tell you exactly my issue with this entire challenge.
Okay, so the whole thing about it was, and we can call it, it's challenge. I think is a kind of a loose term because I wasn't quite. It seemed like this was like activities you would give to kids at a summer camp of some kind or something, just to they're bored. Let's give them some kind of a task.
But
And
find some way to have a corporate tie-in to sponsor the whole segment.
Yes, which was Sunlight, right?
Yes.
This was all about Sunlight and their cleaning products. And so they get the halves to, starting with Beth. Beth is the one sort of directed to get the halves together. And then they have to start making a meal. And then they have to make all this mess. And they have to get the sauce and whatever. And they start throwing it around. There's a food fight that starts here. And they can't let the have-nots know what's going on, which, of course, the have-nots are Victoria, Kiefer,
and
the nominees, Brayden and Austin, right?
Kind of forgot about them. The invisible nominees.
Yes, the invisible HOH and the invisible nominees. And then the challenge after that was that the have-nots had to clean this all up, which was kind of like, it felt mean.
That's what Big Brother punishments are supposed to be. Like, I was enjoying it. I'm like, yes, have them clean. Don't give them a slop pass. Don't give them like a meal or anything like that. I'm sorry, you're a have-not. You're in a lesser position. You got to clean it up. I'm sorry, right? Stuff like that builds like animosity to people who are haves, right? And people who pick them as have-nots. I wish they did this more so that there's like, it isn't just, well, I'm not eating food or I'm not eating the mediocre oatmeal supplement, right? I want them to be, there should be more punishments on Big Brother. People break the rules, people do stuff that they're not supposed to, you get punished. The whole house gets punished, right?
Well, I think about shows like Hell's Kitchen, where they have like the two sides of the two teams, right? And the losing team usually has to clean up the winning teams, kind of thing. And you're right; it creates animosity, it creates tension, it creates competitiveness within the house.
It's like, I don't want to be, I want to be HOH. I don't want to be a have-not. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to have to clean up after these people. Like, imagine Tara, who hates cleaning after these people and how messy they are, has to like literally clean after them after a purposeful mess, right? Should be like, I gotta win HOH because I don't want to deal with this again next week, right? If I get picked to be a have-not again, like, I want something to drive people. It is like sometimes a little bit too easy, right? Has Ty and Jed been have-nots?
Maybe Jed. Maybe. I don't think so. Not that I can recall. I'd have to look back.
I think they made a comment that they weren't have-nots. There's only been a couple of people that have not been a have-not.
So will Beth make them have-nots? Is there? I hate this idea like, oh, we'll all take our turn and we'll volunteer to be have-nots.
Nah, man, I'm picking you because you're going up. I'm sorry.
Right.
I don't want you thinking straight for the veto competition. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to deal.
If I could put them up, like if I could make somebody a have-not anonymously, that's better. I think that's always better.
Like Victoria?
Like Victoria, but making herself the have-not to misdirect, kind of clever, but only if you sell it really well. I don't think you really did this week. I think you were like a little too obvious. You know, Beth figured this out. Come on.
Yeah. Too cute. Don't be too cute.
She knows her ABCs, but you know.
Wait.
I gotta play it now, don't I? I cited it. Stop it! I know my ABCs.
I know my ABCs.
Just not backwards. So the my favorite part of the food fight too is when she poured the ragu sauce down the Jensen's back of his pants. Yeah. I was like, oh my god. And then I did play this kind of earlier when we were talking about it, but just this whole Austin, just being so miserable this week with the whole thing.
Like I can't even eat and I'm covered in sauce.
Oh yeah, I had more to it where she's like, I can't, it's in my hair, it's in my clothes, it's in my jacket. Ah. And then and then afterwards they say, but guess what? Now you have not get this feast where you get waited upon by the haves. So is this the part you didn't like?
I didn't like it. I'm sorry. You are a have not. You get punished. I'm sorry.
It was interesting that they got to have this nice. Okay, and Victoria is there with the two nominees. Of course, they don't know she's the HOH, and so that even like by the end of it, where like they had this nice dinner where they were drinking wine and having pasta and whatever, and they seem to be like almost having a bonding moment there, right? It's the four have-nots, Kiefer, Victoria. And the two noms, Bray and Austin. And then, when Victoria kind of stabs her in the front in this goodbye message tonight, I was like, oh, Victoria, savage.
Which she kept referencing savage when she was talking to Austin when they had their conversation. Savage.
Yeah, I guess. Also, I just want to also talk about this segment tonight where we had Jedson and Beth kissing in the rain. What do you think of this?
Don't give me that. Give me the showmance I really want to see. We talked about in spoilers last week.
Spoilers. I guess it's still a spoiler because they haven't really talked. They didn't talk about it tonight. Like it wasn't on the show tonight.
We got more details about it from because Austin and Bray were talking about it in detail. So.
Right. But this notebook scene here, where
No rain kiss. Never heard anybody.
Cutest man in the world.
you're the cutest man in the world.
So, with if people don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know if I should reveal it now.
I think it's okay, just because they haven't shown on the show. It happened. So
Bray and Ty were snuggling, and so how they detailed this was, Ty was basically saying, "Hey Bray, you keep on teasing. Like are you gonna come with it or not?" So they started snuggling in the bed, and Bray was kissing him on his neck, right at the back of his neck, and also had his hand on his upper thigh, right?
Okay.
So we don't know what this is gonna lead to, right? But
is this first base? Are we on first base or second base if we're playing baseball?
Well, if there was groping, it would be more of a. I think I don't know what stopped it though. That was the thing. We didn't really get the conclusion of it. So, if there was he caught in between first and second base and he tagged out? I don't know. Maybe,
or maybe he was Braden.
Or maybe he got called for rain and the game will be postponed to a later date.
If there's a rain check?
Maybe rain check.
A kiss in the rain? A little kiss in the rain never hurt anything. You're the cutest man in the world.
It would be an interesting situation if both Victoria and Kiefer get replaced by Braden.
Yeah. It would be interesting. Like I think we talked about this in the spoiler section last night. Like what now that Austin's gone, what does this future look like for Braden? Braden almost won this HOH tonight. He was third.
Pulling for him to win.
Me too. I would have liked to have seen what he did as an HOH.
I think he would have put both the dudes up, and both of them would have turned around and said, "Why are you coming after us? Victoria was HOH."
Yeah, she was the HOH.
He would have thrown her under the bus so quickly.
Right, and then she would hate them.
Victoria would, as quickly as I said that I wanted Victoria to take a week off. In that scenario, I'm perfectly fine with Victoria going off because that would be so interesting. Because I think a lot of things would get exposed, right?
Yes, it would
Because
blow the whole
no,
game up.
well, knowing Victoria, she would also state the only person that actually knew I was HOH is Kiefer, and then everyone would be like, "Kiefer, why didn't you tell anyone?" Right? And he's like, "Deny? Did I tell you to deny? Deny,
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 deny."
deny. That was the key for mantra, you know?
Is that spaghetti noodles?
I love that.
Do-do-do.
I love the stinger. It's great.
Yeah. We're okay. There was also speaking of Braden, there was this conversation tonight with Tina and Tara and Braden where he was like, this was his pitch. I didn't love this clip because I just thought it was boring, really, more than anything. Like, because I would like Tina and Tara like to like kind of like act like they're kind of calling the shots or something. I don't know if that's accurate. It doesn't feel like it's accurate. Like, I think they have some sway in the house as their two numbers, but it's I don't know. It was I feel like it was
has
filler.
no power. A pair that has no power outside of like, well, I guess we kind of need you to sway on our side, but like their power has lessened due to the strength of the Sunsetters.
Right.
Let the snakes fight the snakes.
Because right now, with Victoria included, they have 4 votes plus HOH.
True. Yes. So yeah, but I think that they're hoping that that's their approach is let the snakes fight the snakes and let the big alliances like the Austins and the Bradens go after each, go out against like the Tashans and Jedson and Beth and vice versa. That's I think, and that they'll float in the middle until there's few left, and then their 2 votes will have a lot of sway in any kind of scenario. It's not a terrible strategy.
There's a lot of physical challenges that have not come up yet that are standards, and I'm just saying we haven't seen it yet, and it's gonna come eventually. There's gonna be a wall endurance competition. It hasn't happened yet, and each week it's not gonna happen next week in the first part of the double eviction. It might come after it, after the following HOH is gonna occur. I could totally see them doing an endurance one so that people can kind of catch their breath. But like physical competitions are going to come, and it looks like it might be in a bunch in the latter part of the game. So like you have Victoria and Kiefer winning a lot of the carnival game and puzzle competitions, and Roe even too. Now he has 2 victories under his belt. Like
the Roe show, baby.
It's the Roe show, baby.
Like, what are you guys doing? It's like, I felt bad when Tina didn't win, though. Tina
you always want to see these interesting HOHs come to fruition. Like a Braden. Last week it was Tara. Like, I think that would have been way more interesting maybe than we got with Victoria.
Yes.
But maybe not. Maybe not. It wouldn't have been. But it seemed like because we already had a Victoria HOH, I didn't need an invisible version. But it's what we got. It's how
if it was
played
Tara,
out.
she would have taken a shot at the guys.
Yes, I think that would have been, maybe that's too predictable. Maybe this whole turn of face where Austin goes out here this week instead. I don't know. It's just this way that it went. It's kind of interesting. That's kind of the random nature of these games, and that's why you always have to expect the unexpected. I have a little thing here with we talked about the Beth talking to Austin, and she's making a lot of good points. And could I go against the boys? And then Jedson comes along and goes, "Hey, pretty lady, how you doing?" She's like, "Have you worked out yet? You're the most cutest man in the world." She said that in the rain, but whatever. So I was like, whatever. Like, this is just
no.
They were grasping at straws here, because as we saw here, we had these speeches. It seems like they kind of knew it was going to be Austin here. I don't know if they knew for sure, but this was a 7-0 vote. Once they said 7-0, Austin knew for sure she was done. And when they're all leaving, they're all saying I love you, and Jane was saying we're too liberal with these I love yous. Victoria, you do not love her. Don't say I love you.
You love her, and then you gave that goodbye message. No,
Yeah,
you don't.
No, you don't love her. So your credibility, Victoria, it's not good. That's why as an all-star player, I don't think she could ever work. Like I think she's like one of these
You
players
would
that
need someone just as volatile, like just so that there's a question as to who we're gonna put up. Are we gonna put up Mei Ling or we're gonna put up Victoria? We're gonna put up both. And see
yeah,
who
you would have
blows
to
up the
have
house.
like spicy kind of characters. Not not pun not intended to reference Spicy V specifically, but she's kind of like one of these players that has sort of a shelf life, right? Like, goes into the game and can like even like a Russell Hantz. Like there was the Russell Hantz that nobody knew. And the beauty of Russell Hantz was he got to play. We lost Jaemeel there. So I'm on my own again. But I was saying the beauty of a Russell Hantz in Survivor was that the 2 times he played, nobody in the cast knew who he was, and so his sort of like more Hail Mary plays and his different kind of antics were not anticipated by the other players. But once people kind of knew who he was, hey, you're back.
I was still here.
Oh, I was still here.
All I see is you're like, Jameel's gone, and I'm like, I'm still there, and then my picture disappears. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, you just popped off. A second, but we were just kind of talking about the shelf life of certain play. Like
I heard it all. I was still here.
Okay. Well, then respond, please. Yes.
Russell Hantz was shooting the moon, and he got to do it twice, but not all the way. Someone had one heart still in their pocket, and he lost both times. And then next time that he's played, people are like, well, I'm going to keep a heart in my pocket. And his game was done, unfortunately. And
yeah,
like the thing about Victoria's game is like there are people on the sidelines who are watching this. Ty and Jed are like, see right through it. And they're like, yo, we're going to use this girl as much as we possibly can, but she crazy. She crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
But but they think they can control her.
I think control up to a point. Like, honestly, with Beth there, Beth is not going to take a shot. And let's say she's working with the guys, for the guys, whatever. Like, you're going to backdoor Victoria.
This week?
Why not?
Because is it too dangerous to leave Victoria around?
I think so, because what if she flips to the other side? She wins.
Well, she can flip to any side, and so, but she'll truly be sort of.
So you shoot the hostage, right? You don't want to be at the whims of a madman, right?
No, I would be very uneasy working with a player like Victoria. Yeah. Like, she might be on my side this week or this hour even, but next hour she might decide that I'm not, like, I'm on her shit list, like, and I got to be
voted
out.
I accidentally say I don't feel like giving you the attention that you want, and she gets mad and decides to do something about it. That's like, beat me, let me understand gameplay, right? And that you're voting me out for gameplay, and I can kind of see that the thought process going, but like, you're with me and then you're not, because like I slighted you in like a way that you just can't forgive. And it's not like I threw your food on the ground or anything like that. I just did not say hello in the morning because I was still sleepy. And you decided, I'm done with Jaemeel. I'm done with him, right? All of a sudden. Like, you can't, you don't want to deal with those type of people. You'll be walking on eggshells.
Oh yeah. Well, you better learn to keep her name out of your mouth, or you're gonna be dealing with some spicy V. She said. She went right. She right on her fanny. Okay, so we see this vote go out. Victoria votes, but it doesn't matter. But she would have voted for Austin. So it would have been 8-0. We talked about the 2 liberals, and then so this whole thing that there's nobody that comes out, like when they come out. I'm sorry. I'll rephrase. When they come out now, there's no like audience, right?
Yep.
There's no crowd of the world to greet people as they're leaving the Big Brother house, and I think that's always part of the experience of being in there and then coming out of the game. And I think that's maybe one of the only things we do lose in sort of a pandemic season, because this quarantine factor does suit it. But once you leave the house, there's no like, woo, woo, or even like in certain players' cases, boos that
Yeah.
have been reactions that have come for certain players, some more warranted than others, perhaps. And I think that it's just kind of lackluster. So Arissa has to try, or whoever the host is, Julie in the American version, has to try to make up for that. And but she said tonight,
There are so many people crying right now. I am not exaggerating.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
oh
That's
my
because all the
gosh.
Austin stands kind of like just messaged Arissa and the Big Brother Canada, and there's like, well, there's a lot of people that like her. Yes, that's from her hometown, which is in Toronto, right? Isn't she?
She's from Aurora, isn't she?
Aurora,
Like
something like that.
like North Toronto, basically.
Yes, home of Wayne Campbell. Sure, there's always going to be people that are going to be cheering for, and they're going to be very vocal, especially when you know that the person is going to get voted out. There's not everyone like no one like there's not like petitions, right? No, don't lie to the person.
But she said, like, I think what made it worse was Arissa says, "I'm not exaggerating."
Yes, you are.
Like,
Yes, you
like you're not Victoria, Arissa. You don't have to tell Austin you like her, and then it's clearly not true.
Gameplay.
Yeah. The exit interview was kind of boring, and then the messages up until the Victoria message were also kind of dull. Like we had Beth and Rohan and Braden, who said he's gonna get revenge for her.
Please, like honestly, I think the goodbye messages are a reflection of how she did in the house. No passion, no energy, right? And that's what it was. At least there was a little bit of fire with Kyle, at the very least, right? Something interesting that people could talk about. Tara talking about how she's like her son, right? People couldn't say anything with Austin. Austin was just a person in the house, just like how there's a house plant and how there's food in the fridge. It's just things that are there. That is there and exists, but you don't talk to them because it's hidden in the fridge.
That's true. Yeah, and Austin, like, what can we say about her as she left here? Like, I'm like, oh, I'm okay with it. Like, even like the fact that
enjoy your time. I'll see you and Kyle on Amazing Race Canada. Okay.
I guess so. Like, I'm just hoping that Braden will emerge, or even if he's not going to, as like some kind of a threat in this game or some kind of a player that has some agency, then I just hope he's sort of like shipped out into the jury house early in this process.
Does Rohan seem like he has any urgency? Doesn't
Rohan, no. Right now that we're in jury phase, and like I don't know if we'll see certain players like Rohan maybe like kick into a different gear. I hope so. Like, because I think that he's sort of a player that didn't want to be seen as going out early and not being like a player that mattered, but he's so, he be able to take a little bit more risk maybe in this game. He doesn't have Kyle anymore, who he was close to. He was clearly close to Austin. His goodbye message tonight, it seemed genuine, where he's like, we're gonna be friends for years to come and whatever. I didn't disbelieve him.
Yes, because he's gonna be with was it Big Brother camping with Kyle, and obviously
Austin's gonna be there too.
So it's good for relations to say that you're gonna be friends.
I don't know. Kyle was already on to Tinder the second he got out of the house. I don't think he's holding a torch for maybe it's good though. Maybe it gives their relationship a chance because Austin's out now. So maybe Kyle is willing to hey, well actually, but it can't work. He's in Alberta. She's in Ontario.
He's gonna be there. Well, has he left and gone back to Alberta though?
I imagine so. Like they usually don't. You think Josh is hanging around in like sequester somewhere?
Josh is gone. Josh has nothing. Josh has nothing to do with the show. But at least with like, when Austin is probably outside, he's watching the show and he's like, "Oh yeah, what's the name's God? I'm gonna stay around Toronto. I'm gonna postpone my flight and I'm gonna stay around Toronto for another week."
Maybe like if he thought like there was a good chance she was going out this week, I guess
because he's doing press. It's not like they fly him back the first day. and
Right.
you probably don't even want to fly. You might like, well, I guess you probably fly, but like you
For
do
Alberta, I
press.
think you would fly. Yeah.
You're doing press. Like it's Thursday, you get eliminated Thursday night. So Friday, you're doing press. It's the weekend, right? You might be heading out on Monday, and by the time Monday comes around, the stage is already set. You know that the person's gone.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
maybe it's not impossible. If he's like it's a foregone conclusion, you just have to wait around 4 days and you can see Austin. I don't know how soon you give you your phone back after you get out.
you get your phone back immediately, I assume.
Oh yeah, I thought it was after you finish your press.
Would you feel comfortable doing press without your phone?
Well, I think that they do that on purpose to say like, hey, we don't want you to like get texts from all your family saying
Just
like,
saying, like, say something, don't say.
say don't say this or don't say that,
I guess.
or So I think that it could be part of the process that they try
But
not
you would have to
to.
talk to your family though first. Like you get out of the house, you no longer.
You might get a phone call the first,
Yes.
right away or
There's
something
a
like that.
producer standing by. It's like, don't talk about that. No.
Don't talk about that. It's a speakerphone. I don't know how, because the funny thing is too is when you are on these shows, my understanding is you have a contract, and part of that contract is you're not allowed to talk about production.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to talk about sort of the process they go through.
I never got in trouble with it, but when I was on Pop Quiz, we taped like 3 months ahead of time. So I got a question wrong, and I purposely tried to get the answer that I got wrong corrected. Right?
Okay.
So it was like, name Hollywood's sexiest man. And I said Channing Tatum, which is incorrect. Channing Tatum.
Right.
And so after the show, I waited like I think a month, and then I started messaging Channing Tatum and asking him, "Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you change your name for a short period of time? Just even change your Twitter handle, right? Just so I can like dispute that that question." It was funny. It was funny. Obviously,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have worked. It still got the question wrong. But
you were trying for revisionist history there.
Revisionist history. I was going to turn fan fiction into fiction.
It was clever of you, very clever. But
well, why not? You have.
Hey, why not? Hey, you got nothing to lose. Sorry, I just was trying to think about where we should go next in this. Yeah.
Well, after this is his commercial, and then it goes to the HOH.
The HOH, and we also got the double eviction announcement.
Yeah.
Finally, we get a double eviction. It's in the jury phase. Makes sense to do it here, I guess.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's say you're, but also I was thinking about Austin coming out of this house tonight before the HOH, and like I was like, okay, you think you're coming out of the house, and sure, there's no audience, and then Arissa's telling you, oh, there's so many people crying, but what? You get out and guess what? The province of Ontario is going into a full lockdown for like another month. You must be. I would, if I were in there, I'd be like, okay, when I get out, it's gonna be so much better. Like by then the vaccines and things will be rolled out, and we might be back to normal. No, not gonna be. I would be so disappointed.
Yeah, I left work early today to take care of some mail work because I do not want to be out in the streets tomorrow because tomorrow's gonna be freaky. People like every day before a lockdown, whenever they do this Saturday 9 a.m. lockdown business, Friday is always crazy. And it's a Friday that's a holiday. So people are just going to be extra, like anything that's open, they're going to be like scrambling to try and get to. Like LCBO is going to be jammed.
Yeah.
From
those little wine stores at the the Fortinos and whatever. Yeah, it's going to be mayhem. I'm not going out there unless I have to. No. That's for sure.
You're fully stocked up with toilet paper.
I'm stocked. I think so. Okay, Jane, are we stocked up? If you're watching, I think we're good.
She goes in chat. Yes.
Just because we're okay, Dave. Don't worry. We hoarded lots.
Did you like this HOH challenge?
This is a pretty classic HOH format. This is borrowed right from the US version where they the night before the HOH they wake up the house guests, including the two nominees, because they don't know who's going to be voted out. So we saw Austin in some of these clips where she was being woken up all night along with the rest of them, and they were looking at the at like these different pictures, and then they would be asked true or false questions. It's fine, it's a quick format, and you can finish it in like under 10 minutes. You with a commercial break. They like did a couple rounds, and then they took this pretty fairly hefty commercial break, and then they came back. And finished it all out, and because he can go to a tiebreaker because there's a limited number of rounds. So yes, I'm okay with this. I wouldn't be okay if this was every HOH, but I think why not?
Okay. Next question: do you think Jed threw it?
No. Okay. Here. Okay. Why?
Okay.
Because how his answer was so different.
Yeah. Well, not even. To me, there was two options: either he was throwing it, or he didn't get to put his complete answer.
Jane says we're okay for toilet paper.
Yes.
So, yes. So we're okay.
Averted.
Crisis averted. We're in the clear. Yeah. No. Okay. So because Jane and I were watching together, and the question that Arissa asks here, how many days in those calendars did not have like events written in them, right? But depending on how you hear the question, like Jane interpreted it one way, I interpreted it another way, and if we were kind of like I interpreted it in the Beth way, because like I had something closer to like 320 or whatever, and Jedson was like 80 something. So it was almost like he heard the question backwards, like how many days did have days written in versus how many days didn't have days written in. Okay. And so that's why I don't think Jed threw it for that reason. I think he just misinterpreted it.
Okay. I would have beaten Beth, if I'm honest, because the way I was picturing it, I'm like, I cannot remember all those. I can't remember all of it. So I have to estimate. And my estimate was there were at least 3 events on
each month,
every single one. So minus 36 by 365. Right, and that's my answer, which would have been about 328, I think. Right?
Yeah,
and
that's where I was about.
Right,
and what was the answer? 330.
Yeah, would have beat her.
Okay, you would have beat her. You would have been close. Yeah, I was like, I just was going with sort of a safer number, which was like 320, because I was figuring there was about 48 dates, like roughly, across. But that was too many. Roughly, and so I think that that Beth, she earned it fair and square. Clearly,
yeah, absolutely,
and good for her, because I feel like this, depending on what she does with it and how this plays out, though, but you can't take this away from her. She did win this tonight on her own, and her legacy in this game, it has changed. She knows her she doesn't know her ABCs, but she knows how many dates are in there. She knows her calendars.
She only
had
I know my ABCs.
She only had to worry about A and B, and then the numbers.
Yes. Well, she did. It was not exact. It wasn't rocket science, but it's showing. But again, like it's this added legacy that the HOHs have been largely mental. They've been cerebral, and the vetoes have been more physical, but not as a rule. Some of them have been a little bit more like, anybody can win them. I think that's good. I think that you want to leave these things up to a certain level of randomness, but
I would rather there would have been more of a mixture. I'm not complaining necessarily. I just feel like people need to understand that the physical ones are coming, and you have 2 strong guys there that are gonna lick their lips if they make it to a physical comp, and they're just gonna. That's like a guaranteed win.
Well, what if they get there and Rohan is always beating them?
There's no way. If they do like the maze one where you have to like run and find something, I don't think Ro is beating Jedin and Ty. If it was maybe one of them, I would suspect that he might beat one and not the other. I don't think he's beating both.
Probably
Kiefer
not
winning that one. Kiefer's not winning that one. Tina's not winning that one.
Yeah. No, fair enough. And it's like that's why, and they'll be kicking themselves that they didn't get these players out when they could. But again, they didn't have a lot of choice in this. Like, what could Tara and Tina have done anything differently here? Like, they had no power other than they could have won power. That's the only thing you can really criticize them for.
True. But I think Kiefer and Victoria might be kicking themselves because they did have power and they did have an opportunity. Even Austin, Like even Austin, who was HOH, like
She got out Josh.
I know, great legacy.
Great legacy. It was a little sus.
That's a little sus.
Yeah, but it was like getting out like an unpopular player early to sort of win favor in the house, and it kind of worked for her for a little bit. But she wrote it. She went into overdraft on that.
She squandered it.
Overdraft, I'd say. Yeah. Okay, and then that's it, right? Like
That's the end of the episode.
That's the end of the episode, and I don't know if we have anything in spoilers to talk to, but
no, everything was pretty much said. I already mentioned it already about the juiciness with Braden and Ty. We already talked about Beth and her conversation with Austin. There isn't that much. All it is speculation.
Okay, who does Beth want to put up? No influence from anybody else. Like
no
who does she want to
put
put
from
up?
anyone else? I think if she had a choice, it would be Tara and Victoria.
Because that's who she's not with, right? Like the most. Okay.
And yeah.
Now, is that what? Let's say Jedson has the more influence than Ty, which I think would be fair to say at this point. Then who does Jedson want out?
I think maybe Ro and Tara.
Ro and Tara. So Tara seems like this is a bad thing for Tara in particular.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is bad for me because I have Tara in the draft.
Yes, it is.
No, this is bad because like Beth's leaving onions in that fridge unwrapped. Or whatever Tara's going on about.
She does little comments that like annoy the guys. Like she talks about how messy Ty is, and Ty's like, I just left some clothes on my bed. Why are you freaking out?
Yeah. Well, Tara's also Italian, not to point out, but sometimes the Italian mothers can be a little bit hey, you do that. Hey, you do that.
I love all Italian mothers. Please do not send a hate mail to me.
Mm-hmm. You can send them to me. It's okay. Send them my way, Nona. So it's Tara. I was hoping for more for you, but if she's the target this week, that would be unfortunate.
It would be unfortunate.
I don't know if she would be a target. Like, is she worth getting out at this point, heading into a double eviction?
If people are annoyed, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just like, get this out of my life. I can't live. I have to live with this 24/7.
Yes, because like everyone else keeps it cool outside of Victoria, which they're kind of weaponizing her. But like everyone else, Ro kind of keeps it calm. Braden keeps it calm. Tina keeps it calm. Right? Kiefer can keep it calm. Like Tara's the one making these comments. Like that's why. Yeah,
and it's not smart. Not good gameplay. You're not letting the snakes eat the snakes here. You're kind of turning yourself into a snake, Tara. You gotta be careful.
You're rattling it and drawing their attention towards.
She's a rattlesnake, a black mamba.
Yeah, black mamba.
All right.
As opposed to the white mamba. I miss you, man. I miss you, man.
As opposed to that, yes. Okay, well then I think we're gonna close the books on tonight. The week 5, we're heading into week 6. Beth HOH. I'm excited.
Week 6, Beth.
But double eviction, even more exciting.
Yes, but even before the double eviction, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of content coming people's way that they can check out.
You're right, Jaemeel. There actually is. We got a lot coming up in the Super Mader Brothers podcasting network. As you know, we're deep into this Big Brother Canada 9, but we do other things too. We also do Marvel Cinematic Universe here on Super Mader Brothers podcasting. We just started that recently with WandaVision. We're also going to be doing Falcon and the Winter Soldier when that season wraps, and we'll probably do other projects. We also have done Westworld, Survivor, different shows. If you have a request for a show, we'll consider it. Throw it out there. And then we also have our other channel, Trivial Debates, that's our monthly channel where we argue about sports, TVs, and music. It's kind of, we got one judge and 3 panelists, and they all go round by round. It's a lot of fun. Jaemeel was just on the recent episode. We had Adam Woodward. It was a hot one. My son was competing. You were competing with my, I was in a producer role that time. It was quite the thing.
The best thing is when he's like, Dad, and I'm like,
And I was like, amen, amen. Don't be so mean to people.
It's so great. I love it.
Yeah. So check that out. That's our other channel. And our third channel is called Live Long and Podcast, which is a Star Trek focus channel. Yeah, that's right up there with the Vulcan salute. Leonard Nimoy's birthday was this month, or it would have been this month. He would have been 90 years old.
Jewish salute also. The Cedar.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Cedar, so please.
Passover was very recent. We're heading into Good Friday tomorrow. Jesus was a Jew. There's tons of connections.
Yeah. First Contact Day is on Monday.
First Contact Day is Monday. Like, this is Star Trek season. You should check out our other channel, Live Long and Podcast. And all of that. We do Tuesdays. We do a Deep Space Nine episode. We're watching them all in order. We're into season 3 right now, but you can go back and watch the other ones, or you can just join now. This is kind of the good stuff anyway. So check it out. On Tuesday nights, we do that. Jaemeel, Jeff, I, and the Millards, the tag team couple. Then on Wednesdays, we watch an original series episode with my dad, and we talk about that. He's like, it was the 60s, Dave, and we're like, well, why are they so chauvinistic and misogynistic? He's like, shut up. It doesn't matter. It's Captain Kirk. And then on the weekends, we do Star Trek Radio Theater, where we reenact different episodes, things like that. And this
week,
coming up this week, I just got the poster done. It took way later. I would have normally plugged this and all the shows up to this week, but this was quite a week all around. Anyway, so we're going to be doing a piece of the action from the Star Trek, the original series, second season, their 20th episode. This aired in 1968. This is the episode where they go to a planet called Sigma Iota 3. And this is a planet that pretends they're all 1920s Earth gangsters, Chicago gangsters. And so Kirk and Spock and all of them are in the mix. I'm going to be playing Captain Kirk for this one. My dad is going to be guesting on this one, as this is, I think, his favorite episode, really. He's going to be playing Boss Jojo Krakow for this one, and Jessica Chan playing Boss Bella Oxmix, the South Side, North Side respective bosses. Plus, my brother Jeff is going to be playing Boss Teppo. We don't know what his territory is. Let's say East Side. So it's going to be really exciting. I think my wife Jane playing Dr. McCoy. We got Ashley and Kevin Millard in different roles, and we got Michael Chan playing about 4 or 5 different roles. So it's quite the experience when you listen to these radio theaters. And then we do edited versions, which are a little bit more polished and have like sound effects and more like more of a bed there. And
I will strongly suggest. There is a lot of content that's already been previously made for radio theater. Like, go back. You have a favorite episode that you see, listen to it. But I strongly suggest you listen to last week's episode. Was it Bride of
Chaotica?
Chaotica, which was fantastic. I think you owe it to yourself to listen to it.
I think you do too. I listened to it 4 times. I usually don't listen to them after that much. I was just like, from an entertainment standpoint, I was so proud of us because we've been doing this for a while, but almost a full year. We've been doing these radio theaters, and we're getting better at it. Which is, just to say, if you practice something enough, you will get better at it. So yeah, so check all of that. Check if you like what we do, like, subscribe, and share it. And Jaemeel, thank you for another late night. We're heading into midnight here. These 9 o'clock airings of Big Brother Canada are not always the easiest. Killer, but at least we have a holiday tomorrow, I guess. Yes. Right? So yeah, happy Easter, everybody. Passover, Good Friday, all those things. And we will see you Monday night as we will be covering the next episode of Big Brother into week 6. Take care. And yeah, good. I was like, what's he doing?
I'm gonna have to make it as obvious as possible going forward.
And you just have to tell me, Dave, get the sound. I have to. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, ready? Do it.
And remember, someone is always